Hey everybody. It's been a while, hasn't it? Pastor Chris here. Welcome to the Poolside Chat. I have been really sick. Nothing like deadly sick, not like cancer, but a cold. And it's just been miserable, and it's wreaked havoc in my body. It's just no excuses. But I've been sick. Last time we were together, and what's interesting to me was the friends who reached out. So, our friend's great. I was talking about friends. And I guess the question that I was asked is, what do I do? How do I get a friend? Does the Bible say anything? And it's not an instruction manual that says, hey, if you don't have a friend, here's how you get one. But it does give some insight into different things. So, last time we were together, we talked about what God thinks of the importance of friends. And the benefits of friends. And we know that. Stronger than any three-stranded cord. Stand beside you. But as I was thinking what to say, because I'm going to talk this week and give an example. I was thinking of like Peter, James, and John and Jesus. Good friends. Timothy and Paul. Some people say it's a father-son, but it's a friendship. Mark and Barnabas. They're just a lot of friends, you see. But what I thought of as I prepared this was Jonathan. Jonathan in the Old Testament. And what's interesting about this is in First Samuel chapter 18. David, the King David of Israel, that David. 1 Samuel chapter 18. 1 Samuel chapter 17, where the story starts, is David and Goliath. And we know the story of David and Goliath. It's like it's moved, we all know it. I know you know it. But David went out to fight Goliath. At this time, you would send your two strongest warriors out against each other. David was taunting Israel. King Saul had no one to go up against Goliath, because if they lost, they would become the Philistine slaves, Philistia. David comes up to bring his brother's lunch. He's a scrawny little kid. And he's like, who is this uncircumcised heathen mocking God? It's like, not my God, not my Israel. And he says, bear attack, God gave me the bear. Lion attack, God gave the lion to me. It's like, I will take Goliath. I will take. Brothers say, we just stop and go home. David's like, no. And Saul tries to protect him with all his equipment. It's too heavy for him. It's his little kid. And it's like, look, let me do this my way. The way that I took care of the bear and the lion. Because my God is going to give me his head in my hand today. He goes on a field of battle, takes the stones, drops them, takes the sword, cuts off his head, brings it to King Saul. Huge celebration, as you would expect. And it says at the end of chapter 17, after all of this, whose son are you, young man? Saul, the king, asked him. David said, I am the son of your servant Jesse of Bethlehem. Your servant Jesse, Bethlehem. So he's strong, he's determined, he's brave, he's fearless, but he's also humble and respectful. And chapter 18, verse 1, after David had finished talking with Saul, Jonathan is King Saul's son. Jonathan became one in spirit with David, and he loved him as himself. From that day, Saul kept David with him and did not let him return home to his family. And Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as himself. Jonathan took off the robe he was wearing and gave it to David along with his tunic and even his sword, his bow, and his belt. And let me stop there, because what is interesting, and I want you to think on this, why did Jonathan click with David? And this is why I want you to think about friendship. We run into people that is just that right thing. I mean, think of what David did. Jonathan was the king's son. Jonathan was probably close to David's age. Doesn't say. Don't know. But he made a covenant with him because he saw something in David, and David saw something in Jonathan, and it just clicked. And God gave them each other and nurtured that friendship. You know, could it have been his bravery, could it have been standing up to his brother and the authorities, could it have been his love for God, and they are not going to mock my God, could it have been his love for country? They are not going to defeat me. Could it have been his assuredness and his bravery? Could it have been following through on his word? Could it have been his respect for King Saul, your servant Jesse? Could it have been that they tried to tell David what to do, and David's like, just let me do it my way, and my God will make it happen? I don't know what it was, but it could have been any one of those things. It could have been something else. You know, David is credited with writing at least 2/3 of the Psalms, songs. Could it have been his passion for life? But I think there's something here, and I want you to chew this over as we think about friendship. Because there's a point farther on in the story where Jonathan has a chance to save David, and he does. But God calls David a man after my own heart. A man after my own heart. That's what God calls David. And could it have been that Jonathan also saw that same thing that God saw? A man after my own heart. But what I want you to take away is think about this story. It's 1 Samuel 18. And it goes through, and the part where Jonathan saves David is absolutely remarkable as you look at friendship. But also think of that, a man after my own heart. And I just want to show you that it's out there. And for Jonathan and David, this is how it clicked. So, what do we do? Next week I'll give my words of wisdom. And really the one thing that friends take. So, let me stop there. Chew over this story on Jonathan and David. And thanks for tuning in. I've missed you guys. Feeling better, not healthy. Going back to a doctor again tomorrow, but getting there. So pray for me. In the meantime, let your family, friends know. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble at FL Compass Church, and now on Instagram at FL Compass Church. Guys, be blessed. Have a great week, and we'll see you Wednesday.